Time now for the STOHD.com Diamond in the Rough, and it's Captain Shortstop Ronnie Rodriguez. STOHD.com's Tony Lastoria says the 19-year-old undrafted free agent out of the Dominican Republic shows all the tools to be a bona fide Major League shortstop. He has a plus arm at the plate, has good developing power, and can run well. With his offensive potential, ability at shortstop, and growth potential with his body, he's a high-level shortstop prospect who is a project for the Indians player development department that has the chance to be something special.
When you look at what this kid's capable of doing, I mean, he's got all the tools possible, you know, to fill in when Asdrubal Cabrera is no longer with us. But I mean, the Indians are stacked right now in middle infielders, and this is another talent.
Read more about Indians prospects every week on Minor Happenings on STOHD.com and in Tony's book listing, The 100 Top Tribe Prospects. Welcome back to Indians Minor League Magazine. Speaking of Tony Lastoria, we have him on set. Tony, good to see you.
Nice to see you guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah, let's talk about some prospects, too, because as Jason and I have been talking about all season long, a lot of good prospects at all levels. We've seen some of them here at the Major League level. But let's talk about a guy that maybe we haven't spent a lot of time with, but we'd like to. That's Scott Barnes, the left-hander for Columbus. And, Tony, here's a guy that in the last couple of months has pitched as good as almost anybody at the AAA level.
Yeah, he's really jumped a lot this year. You know, he started off the year in Akron for a couple starts, moved up pretty quickly to Columbus. He's seen a velocity increase. He's been up to 96 miles an hour this year. He's sitting 92, 93 from the left side, which is pretty special. You know, I was at a start a couple weeks ago where he was just at ease, you know, coming from the left side like that. His demeanor on the mound has improved. He used to really struggle with controlling his emotions, but he's gotten better with that, and he's really worked through a lot of things. He had a little setback last night. He kind of he hurt the knee a little bit. It's still being evaluated. We'll find out what happens there. But definitely a guy that's jumped onto the scene and is going to be a big league starting pitching option probably next year sometime.
Tony, you follow a lot of these guys, and you look at, you know, who all we have, you know, from depth standpoint, especially from left-handers. You know, you have David Huff and stuff like that. But Scott Barnes is that guy right now, probably that jumped over everybody else that you've seen. Yeah,
I mean, he hasn't jumped over Pomeranz, but he's right there behind. He's definitely going to be a top 10 guy going into next year. He's going to be, along with Jemar Gomez and a couple of these other guys in Columbus, those guys are going to be guys they're going to build around in addition to what's already in Cleveland going forward. So he's probably the second best left-handed starter right now, left-handed pitcher in the organization.
Let's talk about a guy that at the plate, Tony, that I don't know if a lot of people had him on the radar at the beginning of the season, but now he definitely is. Tim Fedorov, who tore it up in AA Akron. Eastern League is known as a pitcher's league. He has that long hitting streak. I think he was flirting with 400 for a while. Now he's up in AAA Columbus, and he's doing a nice job there as well.
Yeah, he's a guy that kind of bounced back. He had a substandard year last year. Struggled a little bit. Maybe initially it's a AA adjustment that happens for some guys. He's got the good bat-to-ball ability. The only question with him is he's one of those average kind of guys across sports, but he's got to hit. He doesn't have. He's a corner outfielder. He's not really a center fielder, so he doesn't have the power for those positions. Doesn't have the defense or whatever. I mean, he's a good, solid player at defensively, but it's really going to come down to if he can continue to hit, which he has this year, and he moved up to AAA. A guy that is going to be interesting to see what they do with him in the offseason. He's up for roster protection at the end of the year, so it could be a guy that could be added to the 40-man at the end of the season.
Another left-handed pitcher that's in the lower ranks right now, Giovanni Soto. You know, we got him in a trade. Another kid that has a lot of upside right now. What do you see in him?
A guy that I think he's jumping by leaps and bounds. Again, he's probably the third left-hander in the system, right, you know, right behind Barnes. He's been on the shelf a little bit the last couple of weeks with a left elbow neuritis issue. Supposed to be activated here really soon. But he's a guy that's seen some increase in his velocity. He's up to 92. He used to sit, 86, 90 last year. He's always been a performer. He's got great numbers. He was only 19 last year and had a great year in the Midwest League. He's only 20 this year. He just turned 20 this season, having a good year in the Carolina League. His cutter is just an excellent pitch. But it's the other stuff that's coming along well with the velocity increase and also his other pitches. So this is a guy that potentially could be on the cusp in a couple of years as a starting pitching option for the Indians.
Yeah, and Eduardo Perez, the former Indians first baseman, coached him some in Puerto Rico a couple of years ago, raves about Giovanni Soto. Jesus Aguilar in Lake County, here's a guy that, again, this year, putting himself on the prospect radar, showing a little bit of power, and hitting for average as well.
Yeah, this is an interesting prospect for the Indians. I mean, I'm not saying he came out of nowhere, but he's got the size, as you can see watching the video. he's kind of built like an NFL tight end. He's probably got the best power in the system right now. I think he's surpassed Waglar's and Bo Mills as that guy. I mean, as you see, the numbers are very good this season. He's got the power component. It's just really the question is the discipline going to come? He strikes out at a high clip. He's got to learn, he's got to get a better approach to the plate and that kind of thing. But defensively, the Indians really think he could be an average to above average defensive first baseman. So combine that power with the defense at first base, that's an interesting prospect going forward, and a guy that's going to be exciting to watch next couple of years as he develops. Yep.
Well, finally, the last guy that we're probably going to talk about, unless you have somebody else that you want to talk about, is Mike Rail. I mean, another pitcher that's done a very nice job coming up through the system. He's put himself on the radar now consistently because he has been able to throw consistent. What do you see in him?
Yeah, lefties are the common theme tonight. I don't know if it's because of you, but I think as far as Rail goes, it's another guy who's kind of jumped on the scene a little bit. The Indians actually were kind of excited about him last year, well, really since they drafted him. As a guy that doesn't throw hard, high 80s. He may touch 90, 91, but he's one of those command and control specialists. He's kind of like a Tomlin out there from the left side. He's not going to wow you with the impressive, numbers on the radar gun or lots of strikeouts and this thing and that. He's a guy that's going to go out there and perform, compete. He's going to keep your team in games. He's got a good three-pitch mix. He added a sinker last year at the end of last season. It's really kind of helped him kind of give an extra pitch in an arsenal. And we're seeing it now where he could be a guy that could be on the move really soon and maybe finish here in Kinston.
That sounds great, Tony. And Tony's the guy. If you want to keep up with Indians prospects, I mean, it always seems he's at a minor league ballpark. And Tony, you've got on STOHD.com, you've got the column, and then your book too. Now, is this something you're going to do every year with these 100 top prospects?
That's the plan. We'll see. I definitely plan to do it next year, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, it's a lot of work, but it's a good read, so check it out. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tony Lastoria here with Indians Minor League Magazine. We'll take a break. When we come back, some people wondered why the Indians would draft a catcher in the 4th round after picking Alex Levinsky last year. But when the best catcher in all of college baseball is still there, how can you leave him on the board? You'll see why Jake Lowry's become a hot prospect as Indians Minor League Magazine continues after this.
Working on right there. Beautiful.